This is episode 12 of This Is Us 2 with Mary and Blake.
I feel like they're both sexy, though, you know? I mean, in different kinds of ways, right? So, like, Sloane I see as, like hot librarian sexy, right? Whereas Olivia's more like, intense artist kind of sexy, which is different. But she's also British, which makes her hot librarian sexy as well, kind of by default.
Man, are you kidding me? This is two beautiful women wanting to be with you. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
You want to know a problem? A problem is your dying biological father suddenly turning gay.
Well,
that's...
Why is that a problem?
I don't know.
We are a hot mess, huh?
Yeah.
Big three?
Big three.
From Cranston, Rhode Island, welcome to This Is Us 2. It's a podcast dedicated to This Is Us on NBC, so sit back, relax, and let's all have a good cry. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Mary Larson.
My name is Blake, and believe it or not, I've actually had the same problem as your boy Kevin at one point in my life. At one point. And I know Mary, my darling wife, knows this story, so I have no problem telling it. But you, the listener...
Because it doesn't involve me.
Actually, it does involve you.
Wait, hold up.
You know this story. You know this story. Hold on. The listener, however, does not know this story, so I thought I would. You know what? We're going to get real personal here.
Yeah.
We're going to get real personal.
Well, I just got super personal in the last episode, so I would
You did.
really like you to get personal, please.
There was a point in time in my life that I did not know my gorgeous bride sitting across the way from me.
Hey.
And at that point in my life, I was madly in love with another woman. Well, at least I thought I was. And it was a thing for me. It was a thing. And lo and behold, this person had toyed with my ever so soft and, just vulnerable Pisces style heart. And a number of times on and off. And I was the sucker that kept going back. And I was the sucker that said, "Oh, of course, this is going to be different. We're going to." And then one fine day, I met my gorgeous bride.
One fine day.
I met my gorgeous bride, and I was swept off my feet. I had never felt anything like this in my entire life, and we even were out and getting smashed on the first night that we met, my wife and I, at a pub, and I had to work at 4 a.m. to go bake some donuts, and she and I actually stayed out till about 2 o'clock ish in the city of Providence. We were having fun. We had a good time. Well, shortly thereafter, I get a phone call from this other person saying that they wanted to be with me and that they had made a big mistake in their life. And while I took a different tact than Kevin, I will say that I told this person that I no longer ever wanted to speak to them again, and told them to lose my number. And this person has never called me since. But lo and behold, this nerd sitting right here, one way or another, there was one person who wanted to be with me, another person who wanted to be with me, and I chose my beautiful bride because that's what I absolutely knew was the absolute right choice.
Dang straight.
Was that okay? Was that a decent telling of that story? Is everybody comfortable with this now?
I mean, I'm comfortable.
Okay, good. Good. I just want to make sure.
I've never met this woman.
No, you haven't, and you never will. And I will.
Oh my gosh! Imagine if she listens to our podcast.
I seriously don't.
If so,
I seriously don't.
That boy is mine. In the wise words of Brandy. So we're going to kind of chat about this episode a little bit, starting things off with the lemonade rating.
No, we always do the same exact thing every time. Every time. We go over the details of the story.
Okay, tell me about the details.
That even says it, Ron Burgundy. in our notes.
Okay.
You know, and
Let's get into the show then.
Ron Burgundy.
Let's get into the show, Blake.
all right. So the title is The Right Thing to Do, of course, which is based off of Kevin's words to Olivia when he's having the conversation about Sloane saying, I want to be with her, but even though I don't want to be with her, it's the right thing to do, yada, yada. Okay, great. The writer was Orrin Squire. And you probably don't know his name because this is actually this person's first big project, This Is Us. And I think this is their first writing credit. But since has written on that show The Good Fight, which is a spin-off of The Good Wife. And Orrin Squire actually served as a story editor for This Is Us for the entirety of season 1. So I know you nerds out there, and I know my wife across the way is saying, what is a story editor?
Not really, but sure.
Essentially, a story editor is a member of the screenwriting staff who edits stories for all of the screenplays that come out for television shows.
Okay.
So the story editor has many responsibilities, including breaking down the scripts and for the new writers, developing the stories with the writers, and ensuring that the scripts are making sure
cohesive.
that they're cohesive, they're suitable for production. And they work very closely with all of the writers.
It's like the project manager of the writers.
Yes.
All your projects coming together, and will they be all done in time, and do they all make sense together?
Yes. And so when for example, let's say for the sake of argument that there is a script for an episode of television that is past due. It's we need to get this moving here.
Yeah.
The story editor will make sure that each act written by multiple people will be cohesive and it's all coordinated by the story editor.
Okay.
So usually people who are just beginning their writing careers are story editors.
Okay.
So that's how that
I like this.
goes.
All
and
right.
the director was Timothy Busfield. You may know him, you may not. He was actually Poindexter on the movie Nerds. He's originally an actor, and he also played Danny Concannon on The West Wing, and he was also the annoying brother-in-law in Field of Dreams.
Oh, okay.
Which was the one that was trying to tell what's his name?
Kevin Costner
to sell his farm. He's actually directed a lot of different things. His highlights are Designated Survivor, that show Damages, and even Aaron Sorkin's seriously underrated show Sports Night.
I didn't see any of those. And now I'm bored with the
You
facts.
didn't watch The West Wing? Yeah, you watched The West Wing.
Nope. All
Really?
set. Nope. I was much more into Meerkat Manor at that time.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that is that. Marvin, what's your lemonade rating for
A
this one?
4.5. I liked this episode. I didn't cry. I didn't have all the feels, but I had most of the feels. And I really enjoyed it. I would not give it a 5, but it was a 4.5.
It was a good step up from the previous
Yes.
episode.
Yes.
The one that Helen
I mean,
Hunt
compared
directed.
to the last one, I would have given this a 4.7, but on the grand scheme of things, a solid 4.5, like a really good episode. How about you?
You and I are on the exact same page,
Look at
4.5 all the way for this one. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a big step up from the previous episode. I thought it finally got us back on track, and specifically because it was a smallish story. It's something that it had low stakes,
Yep.
and it was rooted in the characters, and it was rooted in what some of the plot was trying to do, but it didn't have this big freaking reveal, and it didn't play with our goddamn hearts like the last one did when Toby had a heart attack. So that's that. What's your GBG, my darling?
My good, bad, great. Okay,
Yes.
so my good for this episode was the big three being together, sitting in that hospital waiting room together, the conversation that we played even in the beginning of this episode, just the magic when these three are together and they say big three. It's like you
Right.
just want to cheers with them, and then you sit there and you're like, oh man, I'm not a triplet. I'm just cheersing to myself. So anytime I get a big three, that needs to make it into my GBGs. I feel like, okay, so my bad is how sad I am that William is truly admitting that the end is near. This is breaking my heart piece by piece. I'm going to be biting my nails every episode now, afraid that he's going to fall, and afraid of all sorts of things. Because of course, this is when he has the conversation with Randall, and Randall says, "Why are you spending so much time with Jesse and not your family?" And he says, "Because I can feel the pain now, and Jesse's helping me make arrangements." Break my freaking heart, William. Okay, so that was my bad. Just because I'm sad. I should actually be calling these good, sad, bad, because it's not that it's bad. I just feel sad. So it's my GSB, my good, sad, bad, good, sad, great. So my great was Jack. You know, Jack in this episode doing the complete opposite of his father. He tells when his mother says, don't be anything like your abusive father. And he says, I won't. In this episode, he does anything but, you know what I mean? Like, he really stands up and protects his wife in these dark times. And I'm not going to lie, when I first saw him buy the apartment, like rent the apartment, saying, oh yeah, I already put the deposit and security and last month's rent down, without even asking Rebecca, I kind of like went, that's not really cool to sign all this paperwork without your wife. And then he did it when she was crying in the house. And seeing her reaction when he bought that house, I said, oh, this is how their relationship works. Rebecca's not going to be there saying, oh no, hell no, you didn't buy this house without asking me and you sold that car without asking me. He actually knew. He knows Rebecca so much that he knows that she needs him to take care of her in these aspects and that she is okay with it. So I thought it was a huge testament to their relationship. At first, I saw it saying, no way, Jose. And then when I saw Rebecca's reactions, I thought, gosh, he's such a great husband. He knows exactly what she needs. This isn't something that Rebecca would see as bad. It's something that strong, wonderful, beautiful Rebecca needs, is someone to take care of the situation, to scoop her up in her times of low and to bring her home.
Right.
So that was my great. How about you?
My good? It once again goes to Dr. K.
I mean, he has to make, so mine's going to be big three. And when Dr. K's in an episode, he's probably going to always make it in your GBG.
Always. Okay. Dr. K is definitely becoming my secondary binky. We know Sterling K. Brown, and he is my real binky, but Dr. K is my secondary binky. Okay. When he didn't even put down his newspaper to like talk to the actual doctor about
to break the news about the triplets.
How there was this new couple who was getting triplets, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm really happy for them. I'm happy that they're not my patients."
And then he ends up
getting them, and it's just one of those things that like, it's so freaking awesome. It's such a cool thing that This Is Us can do. Because if you had seen that prior to all of the events that we had seen, if it happened in a straightforward fashion, like if it was just a linear thing of events,
timeline,
it would be like, okay. But knowing it, like, you're in on the joke now, and I freaking love that. I love how This Is Us can play with all of that. The bad.
The bad, not sad. Yours is a bad.
Mine's a straight up bad.
Give it to me.
Olivia. Olivia, just everything having to do with Olivia. Olivia sucks.
You know who she is? She's Voldemort. That's what she is.
Yes,
her
she is.
name shall not
You're
be
a wizard,
said.
Harry.
Okay? Like, there is no good coming from this woman whatsoever. I really do. I want to just tell Kevin, she shall not be named.
Well, I mean, she's bad on multiple levels, okay? First, the first level is, okay, bad wig. Don't like the wig. But even though if it wasn't a wig, it was a bad dye job. And it was even a worse haircut. It was like all like
she
uneven.
Looks like she did it herself.
It's like she like had safety scissors and did
looked like me in college when I decided to cut my hair short. Not a good idea.
Not a good sign.
Okay, so she has a bad hairdo. That's not bad.
No, it's not. But that's just one of the things. And the other thing that I really don't like about her is that she has turned into a villain, and it's happened within a matter of 2 or 3 episodes.
I feel like she came off terrible in the beginning when we first met her.
No, I disagree. I think she started off. I was co-signing with Olivia in the beginning.
Okay.
When she started off, when she was being a little bit of a dick.
Yeah.
A little bit. But that was because she's an actress and like she didn't want this guy around.
She's a Tony Award-winning actress.
I know. And like I can get it. And then she realizes a couple of things and she teaches him. Oh, and like it's very traditional. I can get on board with it. But then she
didn't need his pie.
And like it's enough to like just make your brain go crazy over this character. And she only exists within the story to do crazy, stupid things whenever the plot demands that she be there to do those crazy, stupid things.
Let me tell you, sometimes these thespians are that crazy.
I'm
telling you, Blake.
Okay, I will take your word for it.
And for her to come in and go, I'm back.
Oh,
you and I
God.
both said she's going to literally come in and say, I'm back. And that's what she did.
And that's exactly what happened.
That's what crazy people do. If we had the Psycho music, they'd be playing right now.
Right. So she's crazy. And the fact that she's back and Kevin even considers a little bit that she can come back into her life. I just want to give Kevin a big dumb slap. My mother used to call it a brain duster. Just boom, right on the back of the head, dust the brain off. What are you doing, man?
I took it as not necessarily for the relationship, but for the betterment of the show. That maybe it will be good to have this Tony, award-winning actress come on back in for like a hot second. He thought
because he's a producer, so now he's responsible.
His money's
for
in it. Yeah,
he's not just some jabroni actor.
So what was your grade for this episode?
My grade was absolutely meeting both Rebecca and Jack's parents.
Yes,
absolutely. That mother is freaking awful. Awful. She actually reminded me.
Tell me.
Of Lucille Bluth. A little bit.
From Arrested Development.
With the way that Lucille always got on Lindsay, but how she was fat. And she wasn't fat at all.
Not at all.
And in just the way that she was wearing anytime you see a woman with a coat and a brooch, you know she's going to be a problem. It's like that lady that you see with the short haircut. That's the I want to speak to your manager haircut.
Yes.
You know when you see an old lady with a coat and a brooch,
watch out.
Watch out.
At lunch. Mm-hmm.
I know. Not a good person.
Not going to play.
But as awful as the mother was, and as complex as that relationship is between Rebecca and her mother, I loved seeing Jack and his dad together. And when Jack pulls up in the Chevelle, by the way, fantastic car. When he pulls up in the Chevelle in front of this house and he takes his ring off, I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Who are you? I thought he was going to go prostitute himself out.
I know. Like
I was a little nervous.
I thought he was like seeing somebody on maybe
like a Mrs. Robinson kind of person.
Who knows, right?
Yeah.
And then you walk in and you see that it's his dad. And that simple act of Jack taking off his ring and going to see his dad speaks volumes. Mm-hmm. I mean, not just a little bit.
Show it, don't say it. That's what they did.
This is the Library of Alexandria style volumes about their relationship. Okay,
you're so nerdy.
It's true. What that says about them is the complexity. Jack's father doesn't even know that Jack is married. And Jack is willing to play into the tropes that his father has set for him.
Yep.
Only to get the monies that he needs to take care of his family. Why? Because it's the right thing to do.
Yes.
But more importantly, it shows you how disconnected he and his father are. There is very little relationship. And it also shows you that Jack is fighting something within himself, in my opinion, that he feels is going to come true at some point. Mm-hmm. That because his father is the way he is, Jack has the potential to become his father.
Oh my gosh, I completely disagree.
Well, no, he has the potential to. I'm not saying he will. And he kind of goes down that road a little bit. We've already seen it.
Yeah.
We've already seen it. So for the fact that we have already seen a little bit of it, and the fact that Jack's dad is the way that he is.
You mean
not
the
abusive,
drinking? Okay.
Not abusive, but he has other vices that are problematic. Mm-hmm. And he is allowing himself to see his father and live up to those tropes. Yeah. It was an inspired bit of writing, in my opinion, for that scene. I thought that was just absolutely stunning.
Right.
Stunning.
Let's get into the show.
What do you got, my love? How do you want to handle this one today?
We can go by the big three.
Big three again.
I'll start one. Let's see, big three. Yeah, we'll do big three and then the parents.
Okay.
We haven't touched upon Kate, who pretty much just got a marriage proposal.
Yes.
And I loved it. I am not fully on board with Toby. I'm just still not.
You're not on board?
I go through hot and cold moments.
Really?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think he's the guy for me. And I think that's what's so hard, is that I'm looking at it through the eyes of me. But in these past couple episodes, he's been just really, really good. And I adored how he, said to Kate, I would, what did he say? It's always been yes. I always been
right.
That he would
It's always been yes.
Yeah, from the moment I saw you, it's always been yes. And that just struck me, and you could see the reaction in Kate's eyes. And she was, of course, able to tell him that she loved him, that she wanted to be with him forever. And I just thought it was a really great, deep moment because we've been having just so many weight issues with Kate, and to see this.
Something other than that.
Yes, and I love it.
It's continuing to grow on that gray that I talked about last episode. It's just that little bit more complexity.
She said she's never said it to anyone who's been outside of her family.
Right.
That is huge, huge. So I'm just kind of really excited. I'm glad he got the heart surgery. We're going to see how that all goes. Of course, the big three in the hospital. Randall being jealous of the time that his dad is spending with Jesse. And I get it.
I get
would
it
be too. Whether or not it was his lover, I would be like, wait a second. I've never heard of this person before. And you are now spending these last precious moments with them rather than us, where you live. This is your home. This is your family. What's going on? And mind you, like, I loved those moments when he said, oh, I'm going to be out tonight. Or something, you know what I mean? And Randall's looking at him the same way that probably parents do when their children come home from college.
That's exactly what I thought. Like, wait a second. You think you're going to go out tonight? And like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it was almost like Randall was looking for permission.
Yes.
For permission to go out and spend time with this dude.
William was.
Yeah. Well, Randall was looking Randall was looking for permission from William. Like, he wanted William to ask, hey, can I go out?
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a weird thing.
Such a different dichotomy, yes.
And that whole scene when Jesse shows up and Randall's there and is like, hey, Jesse, what's...
You want some Japanese whiskey?
Hey, I got this really great Japanese whiskey, which you should not
Definitely
have. And the whole conversation was great. How it devolved into Tinder and how they met. And Jesse's like, nah, we didn't meet like that at all. He's like, okay, would you mind if I had the Japanese whiskey?
Oh my God. Even his little thing where he said before, no soup dumplings for you, to William. Like, Randall is just the sweetest little nerdy dorky guy. And I dig him. I dig him and the Beth moments. The Beth Tubby time.
Oh, hey now.
Relationship.
I love when she was like, Randall. And she's pulling off her dress a little bit. He's like, okay, all right. No
he's
problem.
like, I'm not in the mood for tub, and all she needs to do is show a little shoulder.
And
he's
then,
like,
of course, Sterling K. Brown has to take his shirt off again, put all of us married men to shame. The man is an Adonis.
Listen, he doesn't eat cupcakes, probably. That's
Zero
okay.
I don't think he's even eaten bread.
It's okay. That's his job.
Oh, my goodness.
So, Kevin, we already touched upon. With Olivia coming back, blowing up the spot with Sloane. I'm still on the Sloane train. And to be honest, when Kevin talked to Olivia and said, listen, I'm with her now, and I appreciate that you came back and you did these great changes. But I sometimes you have to do the right thing, not the thing you want to do. Is that what he said? Or not the thing that you want?
Yeah, and because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
That's what it comes from.
And what stinks is when I heard that, I was really proud of Kevin because I took it as, not the relationship side. I took it more as the show that he was saying, yeah, of course I'd want to have a flippant Tony Award winning actress of your caliber. Of course, I'm the producer. I have no front of this money. It would make so much sense to have you do it. Yeah, it makes sense, but that's not the right thing. So it was hard. The choice of words was hard. I didn't get as offended. And then when Sloane was hearing it, I thought, oh man, she's going to be happy. And then I saw she wasn't happy. And I went, oh man, I totally misinterpreted exactly what he said.
Well, the way that it's written, it lends itself to the idea that he still wants to be with Olivia, but the right thing to do is be with Sloane, which, by the way, I am still out on Sloane. I am out on Olivia. Nope.
I'm on the Sloane train for now.
The whole thing's a dumpster fire.
And Sloane is very upset, of course, and walks out. And they're supposed to be opening any moment now.
And listen, I may be out on Sloane, but I still do feel bad a little bit. But I also understand where Kevin's coming from. I think there's a part of him that wants to be with Olivia because she is the artist, she's the free spirit, and she made him feel like totally out of his comfort zone.
He just shouldn't have said it. He should not have said it out loud. You do not say that to a woman, a crazy woman, because you know what that woman's going to do? She's going to take that little tidbit, clutch it in her talons, and she's going to know Kevin still wants me.
Right. And she's psycho enough to do that.
Yeah, she walked out of that building not crying, but with the bow chicka wow wow theme going through her head where she's like, I still got it. I'm going to get my man back.
I don't know. I think this is the last we see of Sloane. I'm not that Sloane.
Of Olivia?
Of Olivia.
Oh, I don't think so. I think she's crazy.
I think she's gone. And I think Sloane's gone too. I mean, they're going to have the requisite scene with the two of them because of the play. Like, you have to have
it.
But in terms of an actual relationship and in terms of like them being something, she's out.
I hope Olivia's out, but I'm going to tell you, I've known people like Olivia, and they do not leave. They are like the frickin' telemarketing calls that you say, please, I don't want you to call me anymore during dinner. And they say, okay, I understand. They're like, am I off the list? And they say, yes, you're off the list. And I say, okay, are you sure I'm off the list? And they say, yes.
And they call
me
again.
back next week.
At dinner.
They're freaking crazy. Just like Olivia. So Rebecca and Jack.
Oh.
The news. The way that the doctor said, how would you feel if I told you that you had twins?
They'd be like, yeah, no.
And then he says, actually, triplets. That is like the worst delivery ever.
No, you're not having twins. Don't worry about it. You're having triplets.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. What are you thinking?
You know, I'm in awe because, of course, it's one of the things that people joke about. When you first get pregnant, you're always like, okay, let's see if it's just one heartbeat. But you really don't think about it being 3.
No.
You think like, okay, is it going to be is it a one time or is it like the double shot? You don't actually think about it in being bigger multiples. And then knowing that they have that 6th floor walk up. Oh. That 2-bedroom apartment, everything goes through this incredibly hormonal new mother's mind. And she has to go see her mom, who isn't even kind. Who hears she's going to be a grandmother of triplets,
and she's
rather
Jack
than
down.
saying,
oh my God.
"Are you hungry?" Like, mind you, treats her daughter like she needs to eat lettuce. This is also a woman who is now pregnant with triplets. Let the woman eat all the pizza and cupcakes and bread that she wants.
She should have all of the ice cream,
right?
Which she does eventually. The mint ice cream.
He never brings it home, Blake.
Well, yeah, but he brings a home.
Was there ice cream in the fridge in the home? I doubt it.
My other story was going to be about when we moved into our second apartment in Providence. And how you would always task me with getting the stuff, whatever you needed. And we had this little mart right next to us. And I was going to say, that sucks that Jack has to drive anywhere he has to go to get any of the crap
ice cream.
that Rebecca, where I just had to walk.
It was like 2 buildings over. It was such an easy pregnancy.
It was the best. And I paid way too much for all the stuff because it was a little convenience store. So like if ice cream was supposed to be like $2, it was like $5.50.
Yes.
But it was worth it, and I kept that place in business for at least 2 years.
It's true.
Single-handedly.
When she said she wanted ice cream, I was like, Rebecca, you're a girl after my own heart. But seeing her kind of stifle those cries, and then Jack's reaction to hearing that, and then taking that as his moment of like, no, I need to fix this now. Yeah. I cannot have this happen. And he did. I am so impressed. I'm a huge fan of Jack. I've been saying it up and down all the time. Jack is... He's on a pedestal, sadly in an urn, but on a pedestal in my mind.
Another story I was going to share too is how Jack has to sell his black Chevelle, and I had to sell my black Dodge Charger for our kids too. And I was like, I miss my car. One other thing I wanted to point out too was I love when shows do cheesy things like what This Is Us did at the end of the episode with Rebecca envisioning the house with the kids.
Seeing the 3 little cribs and telling the baby, shh, don't wake the other one up.
Right.
And seeing Jack in the bathroom.
Right, with the other kid doing the hair and all. I thought, I like stuff like that. I just think that is, you're in that person's head for one moment. Mm-hmm. You're in there. And you're seeing it, and it's unfolding in front of you, and it's a good way to show you what they're thinking.
Because I know that's what happened for me when we moved to this house that we're currently in now.
Yep.
We walked in, and I said, "This is home. This feels like home. I can see us at home. I can see our podcast studio. I can see it." And probably a lot of you listening might be nodding your head, saying, "Yes, it's happened to me too." And if it hasn't yet, you hold on tight, Spider Monkey. because
Hold on.
Say it out loud.
because one day you might move and you are going to get those same feelings where you can picture the bathroom, you can picture the bed, you can picture all these things, and it's a pretty special feeling. So I'm happy that they were able to touch upon it.
Right. I totally loved it. I truly did. The one thing I wish that they had done with it is that they showed 3 white babies. They only showed 2 white babies.
Oh, I was glad they didn't. I was really glad they didn't.
Well, I understand why they didn't.
Yeah.
But I kind of wish they did, because it wouldn't have been wrong. It wouldn't have been wrong for them to show that.
It's what she was envisioning at that time.
At that moment, right. I kind of wish they had made that choice to show 3 white babies as opposed to just 2.
I'm really glad that they did not. I am 100%. I was glad to see a boy and a girl, and there was another child off screen.
Well, why were you happy that they chose to do that?
First off, the show plays in flashbacks like all the time. So frequently things that might just come in and out are frequently things that are coming in and out in future episodes. So in my mind, I'm like, that might actually be a scene that we see in the future.
Okay.
And I want to see that. But also, I feel like Randall was always meant to be their child. Always. Like fate had it 100% out. And maybe she couldn't envision that child yet. She envisioned the other 2, but there was a question. So I just felt like fate and her mind and her imagination couldn't picture that child yet, because it was supposed to be Randall all along.
I get it. I understand. Can't co-sign.
I would have felt weird had I seen it. It would have just been another, I don't know. I would have felt weird.
It would have been weird. It would have been slightly uncomfortable for the viewer.
It might have been
probably.
my GSG sad. So, or bad.
Right.
So on that note, let's close out the show. Guys, thank you for listening to this podcast. As I've said before, we know it's weird. The show has already been shown. Season 2 has already been shown. And you're listening to this because you love the show and maybe you like Blake and I. If you do, we would love it if you could head on over to iTunes or your podcast player of choice and write us a review. Frequently, you can give it stars, which is wonderful to give the rating, but you can write a review. For example, we have 16 ratings, those stars, but 6 reviews, 6 written reviews. And it doesn't take too much. You can write a sentence or 2 sentences. And we want to give a huge shout out to Tamari, who said Mary and Blake are consistently wonderful, insightful, funny, sweet, and relatable. So we want to thank you, Tamari, so incredibly much. And tell a friend that we exist, because that's how podcasts get spread. Well, my name's Mary.
And I'm Blake.
And this is Us Too.